just to welcome you in, we're going to be covering today the latest with Dataedo with 9.2 and a few of the things that are introduced there. Leading us today is going to be our founder and CEO, Piotr Kananov.
Hi, everyone.
And then I'm Chase Summers. I'm the Metadata Solutions Manager here. And I'm sure for those of you that are our customers, I'm sure I've met with the majority of you or you've met with those from my team. And so we're excited to kind of catch you up on what's new, and then we will share a little bit of what's coming. We'll share a little bit of that more on the agenda. So for the agenda, we'll be covering what is Dataedo. So again, a lot of you guys are customers coming in and learning what's new, but we do have people who are coming in and are new to Dataedo itself. So we do want to share with you a little bit of background on us, and for those who are customers, a little bit of a refresher, right? We'll go into a quick overview of the web catalog. After that, just to catch you guys up if you haven't had the opportunity to see that and all the work that our team has put into adding in that. Now, then we'll go into what's new with 9.2. So web catalog, what's new there, what's new with the desktop, all of our new metadata scanners, and then also the PDF export. Then we'll go into under development. So this is where we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming, what's on our roadmap, what we're excited to deliver to you guys and what we've been working so hard for. At the end, we will do a Q&A. And so if you have any questions throughout the webinar, go ahead and put those in the questions tab. We will address those at the end. But as they pop into your head, feel free to go ahead and put those in the questions tab. We'll also be monitoring chat. So if you have anything there, feel free to make comments there. Questions and questions tab, pretty self-explanatory on that side. But that's it for kind of the housekeeping, and we'll get things started here. So first off, with what is Dataedo? So again, mainly a refresher, but Dataedo is a data documentation tool and a data catalog. Our sole purpose is to serve as a single source of truth for you and your organization about your data. And the architecture. So here with our architecture, we have all of the sources that you're actively working with and that you need to pull in and get a better understanding of. And we actually scan that into the desktop application. The desktop application is stored in the metadata repository, which is stored on a server. And this is going to allow your team and your data stewards to collaboratively work together. And then also on that server is going to be your web catalog. And this is where you can edit, explore, and then even share with that data community who needs to gain a better understanding of the data that you have. And to kick things off, we'll cover a little bit of a refresher on the web catalog. So let me take over control here. And so I'll just breeze through this. Again, we're happy to cover this web catalog at any time if you've not had an opportunity to have a deeper look at this. Here we're looking at this SQL Server database, so we have the high-level details of this database. Then again, once Dataedo scans in all of your metadata, you're going to have this full map of all of your tables that we're able to view here. Go into employee, and then we can see the description of this table at a higher level, and even get down into the column level. Now, the column level is where we're going to have our descriptions. This is where we're going to have our custom fields, any of the documentation that you built out. And if you do have an editor's license, you can come in here and actually edit within the web catalog. From a visualization standpoint, we can come in and see the ERD. So we have a great look at this and we're able to visualize. And even if we want to load that next level of relationships, these auto ERDs are going to allow you to automatically populate and view the diagrams. Now, say if we want to jump over to salesperson, we can do that and have this view. So it's very easy to kind of maneuver and get in here. Your subject areas, which are modules within the desktop, are in here. So this is just a way to group things together. We do ours by departments. And here we can see, hey, if we have human resource data in 5 different data sources, we can drag and drop and really group and module those together. So this is a great opportunity to do that. We'll touch on the business glossary. So this is where you're going to be able to define the terms that are used across your business from the higher level. So here we can understand a vendor and the definition there. And then we can even link that business glossary term to our physical data assets. So we can link those, so then we can go in and explore, right? Now, if we're going to search, we can search for a customer, and it's going to search your entire catalog, or we can only go in at the SQL Server level. We want to look at this database on the table level and find exactly what we're looking for. Lastly, what we'll hint on here, we have our community section. So this is going to allow for all of your data community to both, data experts and, kind of your data consumers and explorers to come in and have conversations surrounding data, all in the data catalog, which you can also see on each table or column level. As far as any questions that are being asked, anything along those lines that need to be discussed that may typically be discussed in email or on chat, Teams, Slack. This is going to be able to combine all of that with the documentation that you already have in place. So really serving as that single source of truth. But again, just wanted to cover briefly this web catalog, and I'll hand it over to Piotr to show you what's new.
Okay, let me share my presentation again. Okay, so let's have a look at what's new in the 9.2, which was released last week. So let's focus first on the web catalog, which Chase just presented. We have a couple of new features there. So the first and quite important for broader adoption of the product in your organizations is the support for Okta and SAML technology, which is used for authentication and single sign-on. So Okta is one of the most popular tools out there. So what it means is you can use the third-party authentication provider, which means that there's no need for you to create accounts in Dataedo. You can just set it up in Okta, and then everyone will be able quickly and efficiently log into the web catalog. You can decide in Okta who has access to that, and Dataedo will create those accounts automatically. So that's so much easier for admins to provide access, and so much better for users because they don't need to learn another login and password. Another functionality is a new view of the classifications. For those of you who don't know the data classification functionality in Dataedo, it's this capability to tag all the fields in the catalog with sensitivity levels. There can be multiple parallel classifications. In this case, I have PII. We also have GDPR, and you can also build your own custom classifications. Yeah, so let's see how it looks in the web. So you can see here that I'm looking at the PII classification, and there's the first section is about the sensitivity level. So I have 3 levels: sensitive, PII, and over here I can see all the fields in entire catalog that hold this information. And the second section is also it's another dimension of the classification, which is the type of information. So if I'd like to find all the email fields, I can see it over here. Just click over here, and yeah, so that's a quite convenient way of finding all the classified fields. Okay. Another thing is an option to edit and add primary key and unique keys, and also relationships between tables directly in the web. So currently you can do that with desktop. This information is also imported from the database schema if it's not there, or if you'd like to explain the relationships across multiple technologies and databases, then you can always do it in Dataedo. That information is visible in the data dictionary and also visualized with diagrams. And right now, you can also add this information with web, which means the users who have edit access enterprise license can also do it directly from the portal if they see some information is missing. And this is something we'd like to keep on developing, that you can curate your metadata in the web directly. So reducing the need for desktop. Another thing is we extended and fixed some things with the business glossary diagrams, which are quite useful to understand the landscape of your business terms. So we did a couple of things. Let me show you that also. So as you can see, I have a map here, a diagram of the terms. However, there's a clutter over here with all those relationships. So we've added a filter so I can narrow down the relationships to specific type. As you can see, it's interactive. We also include the terms from other business glossaries which are linked. We show them in gray, and you can also filter different types of F entries into the glossary. So yeah, that's something that makes it more convenient to discover your business glossary. And a few other things worth mentioning. We created offline installer to make it easier to install for some of you. You can also see list of all the imports on the database level, which makes it easier for people who are looking at the catalog at specific database to see when it was last imported, if it's still being refreshed, updated every day, for instance, if it's scheduled so. And we also added description of the object in the header, so it's always visible at least the the beginning of the text. So it's more convenient to browse the catalog. So we keep on improving the web catalog with discovery, functionality, search, browsing, and also editing. So we'd like this to be more powerful in the future. Okay, let's move on to the desktop. Desktop is far from being abandoned. We are extending the web. However, desktop will stay with us quite long. We are adding new functionalities, new capabilities, and also fixing some user experience issues and blockers to make your work more productive. So first thing, we have created option to create manual views, so view designer. Right now, you might be aware that we allow creation of manual tables, so you can use it for modeling. You can also use it to document sources which you don't have a connector to, or you cannot connect to. So that's that was possible. Right now we have added views, and we also have completed development of the procedures and functions. This will be released in the next release. Yeah, in the future we'd also like you to allow you to paste a script, and we will create the names and all the column names automatically. Yeah, that's something we're working on SQL parsing. It's hard to tell when this functionality be available, because it's not a very easy one to parse SQL. Let's move on. From now on, you can copy module or subject area. This copies everything: description, link tables, a near diagram. Some of you requested for this functionality. Sometimes you just need to change a few things, so we've added this capability. We have redesigned the schema change tracking view. We have extended it with the imports that did not change anything. Till now, it was just the changes, so you could see on what dates those changes were discovered. And right now, we can also see on what dates the import was performed, but didn't found anything. This builds trust because you know that we checked the schema in your database and nothing was found. So that gives you more confidence in what's actually in the dates, and that the schema you're looking at is up to date. Another change is it's a big one for people who would like to actually document the schema. So we allowed pasting of multiple fields at once. You can, for instance, like in this case, you can copy one field, one value, and paste it into multiple cells. For instance, for instance, status, right? It's the same for all the columns. So you can now paste it. You can also copy and paste multiple values. So, for instance, you can use it to copy things from Excel to Dataedo. This is, I think, quite useful, and also was requested. So we we've developed that. Another small fix was we changed the colors of the progress tracking bars to make it more visible which objects and databases and modules are not 100% complete. So right now only 100% is blue, the rest is orange, to give you a better indication of the work that needs to be done. And last two changes, improvements are related to creating new sources, connecting to new sources to make it easier so that you don't have to type in all the connection details. Remember this, host IP. I struggle with this quite often. What was the IP of the server? So right now you can copy the connection. It just opens the connection window, copying everything from the old connection or from the existing connection, but doesn't copy actually any metadata underneath. So you can connect to the same server with same credentials, but to another database. And the second change is providing hints for suggestions for the server name or host name using values from the existing connections. So you have connected to this server, connecting to that once again would be easier because you can just reuse the value. So small thing, but quite useful if you'd like to connect to multiple sources. So that was desktop. Let's have a look at the metadata connectors and scanners. Snowflake, that was the biggest update in this release. We have added support for SSL. A lot of companies are moving to various solutions to increase security. So we have added this option to connect with the secure connection over SSL. Another thing is also that was raised by some of the customers. When you connect, you can choose a role. There's a thing called a role in your warehouse, Snowflake warehouse. It's used by some of the companies. So right now we can specify which role you'd like to connect as. And we also added support for external tables. Right now, till last release, it was just regular tables, but we are right now importing the external tables as well. And we fixed some handling of the URLs, so it's easier to copy your connection from the Snowflake portal to Dataedo. We've added SSL for Redshift and PostgreSQL. These were two mostly requested SSL connections. We are working on some other SSL connections as well, but the three of them were the most popular, most oftenly requested. And finally, the PDF export, which is free, right now has an option to include the business glossary. So if you have an enterprise license and if you have built business glossary, right now you can share it for free with anyone you like using the PDF export. Till now, it was available only with the enterprise viewer license. In the future, we'd like to open that for the HTML as well in the upcoming releases. Okay, so that was these were the changes in 9.2. Sorry. Let's have a look at the next release and beyond. 9.3, we are adding support for multiple new connectors, new databases. So the first one is the most popular graph database, which is Neo4j. There's also a most popular search engine, which is Elasticsearch. And three major big data file formats, which is Apache Avro, Apache Org, and Apache Parquet. And potentially we will be able to also add support for data lake tables, which are based on Parquet. So yeah, even if we don't do it in the 9.3, it will be added later on. So that's 9.3 and sources. Let's have a look at the upcoming releases. 9.3 is planned later this month or in the beginning of September. 10.0 is planned for September or October. The biggest functionality in 10.0 will be data profiling and sample data. This is something we've been working for many months already. We are polishing this functionality. So data profiling will be a module that will allow you to connect to your databases, data sources, and scan tables, scan each column, looking for the distribution of values, looking at the minimum, maximum values, looking at how many distinct, unique, null, and so on values there are, and also scan the top most popular values in each column with its distribution information. This information can be previewed, so just during the session, and it could also be saved in the repository itself. If it's saved, then it will be visible in desktop and web for everyone who logs in. It doesn't have to be saved. You can just use it to understand the data, so you can document it. But you can also select which columns you'd like to, which information we'd like to save. There will be also a preview of the sample, 10 sample rows for the entire table. So that's also quite useful to understand about the tables you'd like to document. We are working on some improvements in the data community module. So you'll be able to follow objects, modules, databases. So let's say you're interested in getting notified about anything new about specific module or subject area. So anytime someone asks something about a specific table, you will get email notification. And we're also working on some few improvements to make it more convenient to use this module. Data lineage. This is something we've been announcing for over a year now. This is a very big functionality, and we'd like to start this year with manual object level data flows with the diagram, similar diagram to what you see on the screen. Desktop will have a option to define those flows for tables, stored procedures, and so on, and any object in the catalog. And the data stewards or data architects will draw those links, which will be visible in the diagram format in the web. Interactive diagram, so you will be able to navigate, going from objects to objects. And we'll be working also on some SQL parsing. I don't know when and what can be achieved. This is still an R&D project. At least we'd like to try to find the names of the objects, so to give you hints of what tables and other objects are, potentially source or the destination. So that's at least what we'd like to do. Then there's reference data. Reference data goes by different names: lookups, codes, dictionaries, lists of values. It's simply a lookup values similar as you can see here. So there's a code, there's a label, description, and other fields of your choice. So there will be custom fields as well. So you can, in this case, that's a list of databases, but it could be countries. This information can be created manually, just typed in or pasted, or it also could be copied from the data profiling module. And you'll be able to link a couple of fields, physical fields from different databases into one lookup. So let's say you have a country lookup in a country column in multiple tables, then you can scan all those columns and tables, Dataedo will create a list of all the possible values, and then you can create the final list, indicating which values are correct, what's the description of that, label, and you can also indicate which columns values are incorrect. Okay, so that's that, and yeah, that closes things we'd like to share.
Beautiful, and it looks like we do have a few questions, so I will start on these. Guys, if you have any other questions as I'm reading these off, go ahead and put those in the questions tab. Piotr, the first question is from Tommy. He asked, if we are using the web, is it already upgraded to 9.2, or is there some install necessary?
Yeah, it's necessary because it's the web is hosted just like desktop in your environment. So you need to perform an update, download the package and install.
Perfect. And then he also asked, what is the plan for releasing 9.3 and 10.0? Said he missed that. As far as expected timeline on date, I believe.
Yeah, so 9.3 we're planning later this month or in the beginning of next month. And 10.0, that's a tricky. It's quite a big release. We have done a lot of changes there, but it's planned for September, October maybe.
So September, October. And then Raj asked, any plans on taking Dataedo to the cloud?
Not this year, unlikely next year. Right now, we'd like to focus on the on-premises solution. But yeah, longer term, potentially, yes.
Yeah, beautiful. At least offering that option. We have a lot of customers who like the on-prem option, and some who are interested in taking it to the cloud. You can always store it in your cloud in your environment, if that is something that you're interested in, and we can help you with that and kind of advising you there. Another question was, is there an ETA when sub-modules will be added to Dataedo?
Sub-modules?
Yes.
Sub-modules.
Sub-modules, correct.
Oh, yeah. There's no ETA. This is one of the mostly requested features, but it's a difficult one. That impacts a lot of existing functionalities. And also another very important functionality which we are working on. I didn't put it on the roadmap, which are permissions in the web. There's no ETA. We know about that. It's quite a requested feature, but it's a difficult one to do.
And then we were also asked, can we install 9.2 on top of our existing 9.1 environment? Or will our existing catalogs get updated? Or will we have to redefine them in the new version?
No, there's an upgrade option. If you're using web, you just install the web in the same place, in the same server folder, pointing to the same repository, and it will upgrade the repository. Then you have to upgrade the desktops as well. Upgrading desktop is quite easy. It's simple. It's you just download the new version and install the on your PC.
Beautiful. We don't see any other questions so far, guys. We give it just another minute. Feel free to ask all the questions you need. For those of you who are not currently here, maybe you're watching the replay, we'll leave our emails on this last slide here in just 1 second. And so if you do have any questions, you can always reach out to us there, or if something pops up, you can always go to our live chat as well. You put the exit slide, please.
Okay.
Go.
Yeah.
And then that way they'll have our emails. Again, if you're watching this back on the replay, that's a really great way to get in contact with us. Primarily me. I know Piotr doesn't check his emails as much. He's a busy guy. So feel free to reach out to me or use our live chat. And here's that. But guys, again, I just appreciate you hopping in and learning more about what we have today, what's coming. We're really excited for the roadmap ahead. We're investing a lot in the development here, both in time and people. We're constantly hiring new developers to help grow this stuff out for you guys. And as always, continue to provide that feedback. One last thing that I would like to mention is if you are a customer and you've not already set up your quarterly meeting with your customer success manager, please make sure to do that. It's a fantastic way to provide value, learn about new things that are coming to Dataedo and better ways to use Dataedo. So do make sure that you're looking out for those emails from your customer success manager and taking advantage of that. Did just have one last question pop in here, Piotr. We'll go ahead and answer that. Are there plans to enable editing design of views like tables can be edited?
At some point, yes. Table designer, yeah, we don't have any immediate roadmap in the web, if that's the question.
Yeah. So no plans yet, Chris. So that's really good feedback, though. We'll make sure to discuss that with the product team because that is an interesting perspective, although not on the roadmap yet. And that was actually the last question we had now. So again, guys, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. But otherwise, thanks so much for popping in here. And we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.